The film starts with Loretta Wise, a capable sentiment writer whose vocation is at a stop because of her battles with sadness. After the terrible loss of her classicist spouse a long time back, she finds it hard to zero in on her most recent book series, The Lost City of D. Regardless of her distributor, Beth's, earnest attempts to coordinate a book visit, Loretta's pressure and injury make it unimaginable for her to complete her book on time. Capitulating to misery, she closes the story with a melancholy consummation and presents the book for a visit. As though the book visit wasn't startling enough for Loretta, Beth adds to her nervousness by mentioning that she wears a hot pink, glittery jumpsuit and team up with their book's cover model, Alan Covering. Being a model, Alan is continuously flickering out of control, and there hasn't been an occasion where his shirt didn't come taking off. For a discouraged and cranky moderately aged lady, the possibility of going to a book visit with such additional diversion just adds to her bad dream. Then again, Loretta is taken to a rich financial specialist, Abigail Fairfax, a gatherer, who looks for her help with his next expedition. Persuaded that Loretta's most recent novel depends on truth as opposed to fiction, Abigail needs to uncover the whereabouts of Taha's extremely valuable hat, known as the Crown of Fire, which is supposed to be covered in Calaman's burial place. Despite the fact that he has a material showing the specific area of the burial place, he wants Loretta's assistance to interpret the language. Because of her late spouse's enthusiasm for the field, Loretta had the option to decipher a similar language in her novel, which grabbed Abigail's eye. As she would know precisely exact things composed on the guide, she is currently a significant resource for Abigail, who can effectively get to that Crown of Fire. At first, Loretta thinks that her abduction is staged by Beth for the book's promotion. However, after realizing that it isn't the deal, she asks Abigail about the lost city that nobody has been able to find. To her surprise, Abigail has already found the city on a tiny forgotten island in the Atlantic called Isla Hundida. In fact, he bought the place a year ago, hoping to find Calaman's tomb but lost hope until Loretta's novel came out. In exchange for her help, Abigail is ready to sign a blank check, but Loretta politely declines the offer, making things worse. Left with no choice, Abigail's men make her unconscious with chloroform only to board her on a private jet to the lost city. On the other hand, Alan has told Beth about Loretta's abduction. As the cops have refused to help due to the 24-hour rule, the crew decides to hire Alan's acquaintance, an ex-Navy SEAL, Jack Trainer, for the rescue mission. Though they can't track Loretta's phone because Beth has it, they can trace her whereabouts using her smartwatch. After learning about her location on the island, Jack instructs Alan to meet him there, promising to rescue Loretta within 48 hours. Meanwhile, reaching the island, Loretta is given the map and is ordered to decipher it while being strapped to the chair. As the reemergence of the lost city was due to a volcanic activation, there is a chance that when it blows again, everything that has been left of the city will be destroyed. So, Loretta has to hurry up deciphering that language before the city gets lost again. Arriving at the island, Alan urges Jack to help him in the rescue mission so he can apologize to Loretta for his hurtful words at the hotel. In a nutshell, he wants to be a hero to make that apology thing a little easier. Unwillingly, Jack agrees only if he stays in their tiny blue car throughout the operation. Against Jack's instructions, Alan follows him to the lost city where Abigail's company has set their tents. Being a model, Alan doesn't know how to even throw a punch, so Jack has to look for him in addition to rescuing Loretta. Fighting every guard in their way, the duo finally manages to get to Loretta, who is still tied to the chair. With Abigail's henchmen closing in fast, there is no room for small talk. Amid the chaos, Loretta sneakily steals the parchment without thinking twice about its consequences. In a hurry, Jack swiftly loads her onto a wheelbarrow and races towards the exit, triggering the explosives he planted beneath the cars. Although they have prevented their pursuit, the bomb's flares and sounds have caught Abigail's attention. While untying Loretta from the chair, Jack does a little flirting which bothers Alan, who secretly wishes he could trade places with Jack at that moment. Before the trio can make their escape, Abigail's shooters arrive on time, killing Jack with a single shot. With Loretta still bound to the chair, Alan manages to ride away using all little to no combating skills he has as a model. With Jack's blood staining his face, Alan experiences a mental breakdown, causing him to unsee the incoming defile. Despite his panic, he slams on the brakes just in time to prevent an accident. However, the abrupt stop causes Loretta to fall from the car, though thankfully, she manages to survive. As the two try to open the car doors, the unthinkable happens. The vehicle plunges into a ravine, crushing everything inside, including Alan's phone. Their next move is to venture through the dense jungle, making their way toward the airport in a bid to find a lifeline, a phone for rescue. With Abigail's men approaching close, Loretta chooses to go by the river, with Alan unwillingly following her. As they reach a waterfall, Loretta stumbles upon the engraved ancient language that shows the complete location of the tombs when combined with the map. The writing says that King Calaman and his treasure laid to rest in the Well of Endless Tears. Instead of sharing this information with Alan, Loretta keeps it a secret and continues their journey to the airport. Abigail's frustration boils over as he vents his anger at his team for failing to capture Loretta. Rafi, his trusted aide, appears to be growing increasingly rebellious, feeling that things have gone too far with the abduction and murder of innocent people. However, Abigail remains resolute, insisting that the jewels they will get are worth all this trouble. Meanwhile, Loretta and Alan have reached a hilltop where they ignite some fire to spend their night. However, soon an argument starts between the two when Alan witnesses Loretta with the parchment. Inquiring about it, he learns of Loretta's plan to locate the tomb before the volcano buries it forever. Alan expresses concern, knowing the map is of great value to Abigail and that he will relentlessly hunt them. However, Loretta remains persistent in her decision, even dismissing Alan's worries and striking a nerve by calling him a cliché hero from a fantasy novel. Hurt by her words, Alan reveals how he never wanted to become a model. It was merely his escape from a troubled past. He never felt proud until a girl approached him one day, asking for a selfie only because she adored the character he portrayed in Loretta's novel. And that was the moment he knew how a profession could be a disgrace that makes people this happy. Loretta knows she has hurt Alan, but before she can apologize, two bikers appear out of nowhere, aiming to capture them. With quick thinking, Alan uses Loretta's glimmery piece of cloth to bait the bikers. Timing their move perfectly, the duo uses their hammock to blindside one of the bikers, causing him to inadvertently strike the other one and fall into the ravine. Although they manage to survive this time, they still have to reach the airport to completely escape this situation. Meanwhile, Beth is on her way to the island after local authorities refuse to take action. When her flight gets delayed again and again, a pilot named Oscar offers to take her to the island in his cargo plane. After hours of hiding from their abductors, Alan and Loretta finally find a village where they can contact Beth and ask the local police station for protection. Until they get a vehicle to leave the village, the duo change their clothes and spend some time dancing and listening to folklore. It seems like Loretta has now realized that Alan is much more than just a model. In the face of danger, he has displayed courage and selflessness, risking his own life to protect her despite lacking combat skills. As they are dancing, Loretta carefully listens to the love song about a woman whose lover died, but she didn't want to leave his side. So, she laid down and refused to get up. The song says that the island wept for her in the Well of Endless Tears, the ones mentioned on the parchment. After talking to a native, Loretta finally understands what the words stand for. It represents a sinkhole where the tomb might be located. As she tells Alan about it, the duo decides to visit the place only to see what Loretta's fantasy novel actually looks like in reality. In excitement, as Alan returns to the hotel management to talk about a stay, Loretta gets abducted once again, and this time the local cop has informed Abigail about her whereabouts. Without wasting time, Alan buys a motorcycle from a native and follows the truck, only to get captured at the end of a brief combat. To get to the Crown of Fire, Abigail threatens to kill Alan if Loretta doesn't reveal the location of the tomb. Meanwhile, Beth arrives on the island and asks local authorities for assistance. On the other hand, Abigail and his two men take Alan and Loretta through treacherous caves and chasms, navigating the deadly path toward the sinkhole. Even after losing one of his men, Abigail is still not calling off his dangerous treasure hunt. Finally, they find a tiny tunnel that might lead to the sinkhole, but it is only a possibility, not a fact. While not risking his own life, Abigail instructs Loretta to enter the tunnel, or he will do the unthinkable in case of retaliation. Despite the narrow passage, Loretta follows the orders and finally manages to get to the other end, where Calaman's tomb is located. Abigail has found the grave, but the Crown of Fire is nowhere to be seen. The only thing seen in the coffin is Taha embracing her beloved husband while wearing a seashell headdress, not the one with red diamonds. In a fit of rage, Abigail asks for an explanation, to which Loretta begins reading what's written on the tomb walls. It turns out that Kalaman was searching the island for some rare red seashells to prove his love for Taha. He gave her one shell every day for a year and made them into a crown bright red like the flame of their love until the day came when she accepted his proposal. The tomb, which Abigail had initially assumed to be a monument, was actually a hiding place for a grieving woman. As Loretta delves deeper into the story, she realizes that Kalaman and Taha's riches were not material possessions, but rather their profound love for each other. For Taha, holding her beloved partner in her final resting place was her most cherished treasure, and the crown of fire or the red diamonds was merely a metaphor used for their love. As the truth hits him hard, Abigail's emotions spiral out of control. Fueled by rage, he urgently orders Loretta and Alan to get into the coffin. Meanwhile, the incoming eruption of the volcano leaves no room for the delay as a fiery death in the molten lava looms over them all. Rafi doesn't want Loretta and Alan to get killed for Abigail's madness, so he leaves a small metal rod inside the coffin as an escape tool. After locking the duo, Abigail follows Rafi outside the cave, only to witness him fleeing on the boat. It seems like Abigail's unjust behavior has pushed him to his limit. Without thinking twice, he departs from the area, leaving Abigail stranded there. Meanwhile, Loretta apologizes to Alan for all the mean things she said to him at the hilltop. After quite an emotional conversation, the couple finally gets to know about the metal rod that Rafi left there intentionally. Getting out of the coffin, they swim with the current, navigating the waters to reach the other side of the cave. And just as they find themselves in the middle of the ocean with no help, a beacon of rescue appears in the form of Beth, who arrives on a patrol boat, ready to save them. It turns out that Beth has also rescued an unknown British, aka Abigail, who seems to be enjoying his rescue until Loretta reveals his true identity to the authorities. Before he can run away, Oscar springs into action, foiling his escape and saving the day in one swift move. Returning from the island, Loretta publishes another book, The Crown of Fire, based on her recent adventure. The book quickly becomes a sensation, captivating readers far and wide and bringing newfound wealth to Beth, Alan, Loretta, and the entire crew. As fate would have it, Loretta and Alan's relationship blossoms into something more, just like a dreamy fantasy come true. Jack surprises Loretta and Alan in their yoga class, revealing that he somehow managed to survive the bullet shot and is now 100% healthy. I hope you like it. Subscribe for more content like this, and hit the like button to help us out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time, take care.